Are you looking to buy waterfront in Maryland? Watch this video and I'm going to tell you some things no one else is going to tell you about living on the water. All right, what's up everybody? This is Rob Schou here with EXP Realty in Maryland. If you're looking to buy waterfront in Maryland, reach out to me, call me, text me, and I'd be happy to help you make that decision a heck of a lot easier. You can also scroll down to the first comment, click on the link, and it'll schedule a Zoom meeting one-on-one with me where we can talk about your home buying needs. And last but not least, if you like this content and if you want more like it, more waterfront content, more living on the water content, make sure you click that subscribe button, click the bell so you're notified every single time I put out new content about living on the water in Maryland. All right, so like I said, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what no one else is going to tell you about living on the water in Maryland. Now, I know a lot of these from talking to friends, but also from my own personal experience about buying waterfront and living on the water in Maryland. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into it right now. The first thing I want to tell you is a lot more maintenance. So not only does it cost us more to live on the water, there's more to maintain. You don't really think about it, but you got to maintain that whole shoreline. And I'm not just talking about, riprap and stuff like that, like the rocks on the shoreline. There's constantly things washing up that you really have to pay attention to and you got to clean up. I just spent a whole day yesterday with my wife cleaning up our waterfront area, and it's not a big problem, but it's still something that you don't think about before you move to a waterfront area. And not only are you getting that waterfront area, you got to maintain your pier if you have it as well. A lot of that stuff you can do yourself, but some of it may be things that need to be done by a professional if they're putting in new pilings, or possibly replacing boards and things like that on your pier, or doing electrical work or any other plumbing and stuff that you may have on your pier. But there's just more maintenance than a typical house because you got something down there that's different than typical houses. All right, so the number 2 thing that no one will tell you about living on the water is you're going to become in tune with the weather and the tides. You're really going to start paying attention to it more. You're going to notice changes in weather more, and you're definitely going to be much more in tune with the change in tide. You'll be able to know when high tide and low tide are because you're constantly looking out there on the water. You're also going to know exactly when a tide is getting too high for your waterfront area. Now, a lot of people are afraid of flooding in waterfront. The cool thing about the Chesapeake Bay and its tributaries, flooding doesn't sneak up on you. We don't have flash flooding around the waterfront as much here as other areas. We have more tidal flooding, which means the flood actually comes up with the tides from the Chesapeake Bay. Now, that's not saying they can't be destructive. I've had parts of my pier wash away. I've had to take my boat off the lift multiple times because of incoming storms or high tides that were predicted. But for the most part, it's not like it's not like it's going to happen in 30 minutes and all of a sudden everything's going to be flooded down at your waterfront. It's more likely that you're going to get a forecasted amount of time, most of the time a few days or within 24 hours, that you're going to be able to respond and kind of get the boat off the lift and prepare different things down there and get those chairs off the dock in the waterfront area so they don't float out in the water. But you're definitely going to get more in tune with the weather and the tides. All right, so number 3, I'm sure people know this, but you really use your vessels, your boats, your kayaks, your canoes, all that kind of stuff. You use them a ton more when you live on the water. It's so much easier to just go down to the waterfront, hop in your boat and go. You don't have to worry about hooking up the trailer. You don't have to worry about driving to the boat ramp. You don't have to worry about backing the boat in the water and dealing with all of that. You're just off your dock, in the water, and go. And that's something that I think people know that they're going to use it more, but I don't think they realize how great it is to have it right there for you and how much easier it makes everything. It literally can cut an hour or 2 at least off the time it normally takes you to go out on the boat, and it just is so much more enjoyable. All right, so number 4, and this is something that it took me a little while to realize, but you'll gain people in your life that just want to use you for your waterfront. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but a lot of people have asked me over the years, hey, can I come fish down at your waterfront? Hey, can I come do this? Or hey, can I come over for a little bit? I wanted to, do some crabbing. They don't really want to hang out with you. They want to go use the waterfront. And I understand why. It can be tough to find a good public space to be. It can be tough to, go out and go crabbing and fishing in different areas. And for me, I don't mind sharing, but it might be something you really want to, think about when you're inviting people over, or who you're inviting over to your waterfront, to make sure that they're people you want there fishing and crabbing and being respectful to your personal area. All right, so the number 5 thing that no one's gonna tell you about living on the water, and I think it's kind of assumed, but sunrises and sunsets over the water at your own waterfront just hit differently. When you can wake up, and I do this regularly, I walk down to the pier with my cup of coffee and watch that sun come up over St. George Creek. There is nothing like it. It's a great start to the day, and I'm sure if I could see the sunset from my waterfront, that would be a great ending to the day as well. But for me, those sunrises and sunsets, and from other people I've talked to that are on the waterfront, they just hit different. All right, so hopefully this information was helpful about some of the things no one tells you about living on the water. If you want, you can go ahead and reach out to me and I can help you buy some waterfront property in Maryland. Call me, text me, and I'd be happy to make that happen. You can also scroll down to the first comment, click on that link, and it'll schedule a Zoom meeting with me one-on-one so we can talk about your waterfront home buying needs. And last but not least, smash that subscribe button, click the little bell so you're notified every single time I put out new content about living on the water in Maryland. Hope to see you on the next video.